Graduands, guests and colleagues, my name is Mary Haworth and I am delighted to welcome you all to graduation. I have a few announcements to make before we begin so that you can relax and enjoy the ceremony. Graduands, an easy job to start with. Please check that your seat number matches the number on your ticket because you'll be called to the stage in this order. If you discover that these do not match, our team of stewards can help you to locate the correct seat. At the appropriate time, you'll be invited by the stewards to stand and to make your way to the foot of the stairs, ready to head up the stairs and across the stage. All very straightforward. There are two key things which make for a seamless ceremony. Firstly, as soon as the person ahead of you begins to cross the stage, please make sure you make your way up the stairs. Please don't wait until they've passed across the stage before you reach the top of the stairs. Secondly, don't let excitement and pride overwhelm you so much that you forget to pick up your degree parchment after you've crossed the stage. If you do, don't worry, you have still graduated, but don't try to go back because you will collide with someone coming the other way. Instead, please visit the graduation information desk in the exhibition centre where you collected your gown, 30 minutes after the ceremony to collect your parchment. Graduands, you are asked to raise or doff your cap rather than shake hands with the Vice-Chancellor when you're called on stage. And please feel free to remove your face covering temporarily whilst on stage. At the end of the ceremony, graduates are asked to process out of the hall directed by the stewards. Family and friends, the stewards will show you to the exits once the graduates have left the hall. If the fire alarm should sound at any point, please remain in your seats. Instructions will be given and we'll escort you to the nearest exit. Today, our graduating students become alumni of the University of York, and you will join an international community of over 140,000 York alumni in 180 countries. Your Alumni Association is a vibrant and active global network offering events, services and opportunities designed to help you make connections with other alumni across the world and to support your career development. We will be with you every step of the way as you embark on this next chapter. And you will shortly receive an email giving further details of the ways in which you can remain connected and involved. In the meantime, please follow our alumni social media channels on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and check out our Alumni Association website to keep in touch and learn more about life as a York graduate. As you get your first job or take up further study or training, please remember to keep us in touch with what you're doing. Understanding the career paths that you will take will help us to provide the right support for current students and make sure that we continue to offer graduates like you relevant information and opportunities. Finally, can I ask you to mute your mobile phones? And if you are comfortably able, will you please now stand?
I declare this congregation open for the conferment of awards upon all graduands. Please be seated. And a very warm welcome to the University of York. My name's Jeffery, I'm the Vice-Chancellor of the University. Our graduation ceremonies are always special occasions. They're a celebration of our graduands' achievements, and they're a moment of transition, with all the excitement and anticipation that comes with our graduates moving on into the next phase of their lives. There's also something else this year. This is our first in-person graduation series for 2 years. Those last 2 years have been among the most extraordinary we'll experience in our lives. COVID has had such far-reaching, awful impacts on our health, our economies, our societies. Amid that, we've seen unprecedented disruption to our operation as a university, as have you, our graduands, in your studies. It's therefore all the more a moment of celebration to be in this hall in person with our graduands today, even with the masks, the tests, all the precautions we've had to get used to. And we're so delighted that friends and family of our graduands can also be with us in person to witness this ceremony and join in this celebration today. You are all very, very welcome. Sadly, some of our graduands can't be here today, given the difficulties of international travel. Some of their family and friends face the same problem and can't be with us. Others have had the bad luck to test positive just at the wrong moment. They too are in our thoughts, and we will, of course, invite them all to a graduation ceremony at the point when they are able to attend. I'll reflect more towards the end of the ceremony on the challenges we all, but especially you, our graduands, have had to face over the last 2 years. But we now move into the main part of the ceremony. And with that, and through the power vested in me by the University of York, I have great pleasure in conferring awards on all graduands listed for this ceremony in the graduation programme.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Biology, for research in identification of metaldehyde-degrading enzymes, Edward Fuller. For the degree of Master of Science in Biodiversity, Ecology and Ecosystems, Natalia Arguelles. Joseph Nightingale. For the degree of Master of Science in Industrial Biotechnology, Abdullah Azhar. Kalina Golova. Benjamin Haynes. Emily Polferman. For the degree of Master of Science in Molecular Medicine, Rose Andrzejewska. Jamie Austin. Emilia Banaszek. Kelly Roy. Oh, sorry, one more. Benjamin Hickey. Kelly Roy. For the degree of Master of Biology in Biology, Denise Warriner. For the degree of Master of Biology in Genetics with a year in Europe, Bruno Rodriguez. For the degree of Master of Science in Biochemistry, Jessica Gray. Sian Susseline. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Biology, Sophie Curran. Elizabeth Endicott. Ash Gibbons. Catherine Moyes. Okay. Karolina Redekova. Jasmine Wells. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Sciences, Ellie Booth. Poppy Culshaw. Grace Evans. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Molecular Cell Biology with a year in industry, Tiffany Damon.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following... Oh,
Excuse me, let me start again.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry for research in studying PD-catalysed reactions via automation, George Clark. For research in applications of green solvents in polymer chemistry, Roxana Milescu. For research in the importance of ocean atmosphere exchange, Ryan Pound. For research in organic nitrogen and inorganic species in PM 2.5, Stephen James Swift. For research in laser study of bio and pharmaceutical relevant ions, Oguchuku Kelechi Ulianya. For research in emissions from the UK oil and gas industry, Shona Wild. For the degree of Master of Science in Green Chemistry and Sustainable Industrial Technology, Eric Balakrishnan. Alexander Campbell. James Donnelly. Rebecca Dawn Kirk. Marcus Lawson-Early. Will Lewis. Harry Massian. Sid Meng. Ahmed Nalandu. Claudia Nguyen. Tom Proctor. Alex Ridley. Rosie Sturmey. Gerardo Toon Gongora. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, Daniel Harris. Joe Kashala.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental Geography for research in rapid sea level rise and climate change, Graham Rush. For the degree of Master of Science by Research in Environment, Amy Wright. For the degree of Master of Science in Corporate Sustainability and Environmental Management, Molly Bryden. Anneken Boeverhoed. Claire Cooper. Bethany Davies. Alicia Dean. Alex Downs. Soraka Floyd. Daniel Graves. Tesney Jones. Natalie Phillips. Victoria Raggio. Luca Riganelli. Olivia Raupar. Harriet Thrower. And Elliot Woods. For the degree of Master of Science in Environmental Economics and Environmental Management, Abdullah Albanian. Sam Buckton. Mofinian Folua Kosoko. Sorry, James Edwards. Apologies. That was James Edwards. Give him another round of applause, please. I was ahead of myself. Mofinian Folua Kosoko. Suzanne Ohm. William Smith. For the degree of Master of Science in Environmental Science and Management, Joyce Aftab. Alexander Bevan. Luke Bennett. Anna Burton. Jordan Celestia. Maria Isabel Cruz Gutierrez. Emlyn Davies. James Evans. Amber Malik. Nicholas Johnson. Isabel Pugh Lewis. George Pullen. Charlotte Robinson. Sofia Sangiorgi. For the degree of Master of Environment in Human Geography and Environment, Holly Clarkson. Rosemary Fenwick. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Environment, Economics and Ecology, Johanna Bowmer. Emma Holman. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Environment, Economics and Ecology with a year in industry, Jerome Bray. Francesca Riley. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Environmental Geography, Scott Poole. Thomas Simmons. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science, Tara Course. Freya Davies. Mary Knight. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Natural Sciences, specialising in physics. David Bonham. Nathaniel Williams. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Natural Sciences, specialising in biology, Thomas Wainwright.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ensemble Anonimi will perform Respect by Aretha Franklin and arranged by Joshua Adams, followed by Come Fly With Me by Frank Sinatra, arranged by Rachel Singer.
Come fly with me, let's fly away, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in far Bombay. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's float down to Peru, way down to Llama Land, there's a one-man band, and he'll toot his flute for you. Come fly with me, let's take off in the blue. Fly me to the moon, and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand in my arms. Baby, kiss me. Baby,
Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore.
you are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Oh, otherwise, it's such a lovely day. A lovely day. Just say the word and we'll beat those birds down to Acapulco Bay. And it's perfect for a flying honeymoon. They say, come on, fly with me, come fly, let's fly. Let's fly away. What you want, baby, I got it. What you need, do you know I got it? All I'm asking is for a little respect when you get home. Hey, baby, and you get home. Just a little bit, mister. Just a little bit. I ain't gonna do you wrong while you're gone. Ain't gonna do you wrong, 'cause I don't wanna. All I'm asking is for a little respect when you get home. Baby, when you get home, just a little bit. just a little bit. I'm about to give you all of my money, and all I'm asking in return, honey, is to give me my prospers when you get home. Hey, baby, when you get home.
Just a little bit,
Yeah.
just a little bit.
No matter what I do, I do, I do, I do. No matter what I do, I do, I do, I do. No matter what I do, I do, I do, I do.
Ooh, your kisses, sweeter than honey. And guess what? So is my money. All I want you to do for me is give it to me when you get home, yeah, baby. Bring it to me when you get home now. Just a little bit. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-t. Take care of TCB. Woo! Just a little bit. I get tired, keep on trying. You're running out of fools and I ain't lying. Respect.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Physics, Aliyu Bala for research in optimising radiation detectors for oil and gas exploration. For research in the development of a system for atom chip experiments, Alexander Bunting. For research in metal insulator, metal nanoresonators, George Duffett. For research in thin film polar oxides for heterogeneous catalysis, Adam Kerrigan. For research in atomistic simulations of iron oxides, Daniel Milak. For research in charge trapping in nanoporous titanium oxide, James Quirk. For the degree of Master of Science by Research in Physics, Stamatina Alexandropoulou. For the degree of Master of Science in Fusion Energy, Max Holmes. Alvaro Martinez Pichero. Jonathan Matthews. Mayor Pete. David Rees. Mark Turner. Joseph Umbleby Thorpe. Christos Vagkidis. For the degree of Master of Physics in Physics, Jack Bradley. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Physics, Hala Althopati. Patrick Govus.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Psychology, for research in decision-making errors, age-related changes, Dean Marshall. For the degree of Master of Science in Cognitive Neuroscience, Kira Baird. Emily Groom-White. Amy Miller. Francesca Nanetti. Jess Teed. For the degree of Master of Science in Development Disorders and Clinical Practice, Hanadi Al-Shiri. Rebecca Garbett. Nicoletta Gavrilla. Sarah Hashem. Sarah James. William Kennedy. Hannah Kersop. Joseph Lansbury. Kristen Lene Leporche. Christy Leung. Georgia McMahon. Leah Midgley. Astra Mishra. Holly Naylor. Katie Rhodes. Alicia Rose. Harrison Sequoia. Brianne Tangwell. Angel Taylor. Sharon Thomas. Kira Thompson. Zoe Thompson. Amelie Trickett. Francesca Whitehead. Jade Wilson. For the degree of Master of Science in Developmental Cognitive Neuroscience, Gloria Chung. Eva Sievich. Georgia Green. Bairovi Selvaraja. Ashwarya Thamil Selvan. Caitlin Wheatley. Amy Stevenson. For the degree of Master of Science in Psychology, Nat Collins.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Social and Political Sciences. Hajar Asadi. Jade Checkley. Amelia White. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Comparative and International Social Policy. Emma Albury. Daniel Bowman. Yarni Lin. For the degree of Master of Arts in Global Crime and Justice, Nashwan Ahmed. Terry Bowden. Ajitya Pratima. Bethany Wright. For the degree of Master of Arts in Public Policy and Management, Peter Gadgewell. Rebecca Spiteri. T. Natiabang? No? No, sorry. Sorry. For the degree of Master of Arts in Social Policy, Alexandra Gibbons. Elizabeth Hollins. Sun Yin Ho. Roisin McCallion. For the degree of Master of Arts in Social Work, Zainab Nadeem. For the degree of Master of Arts in Social and Public Policy, Amelia Watkins. Charles Amar. Temitope Ogundeep. For the degree of Master of Public Administration in Public Administration, Alexandra Guy. Winglam Lau. For the degree of Master of Research in Social Policy, Nicholas Morgan. Soham Nayak. For the degree of Postgraduate Diploma in Public Administration, International Development, Abdul Ghani Amin. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Social Policy, Stephanie Williams. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Social Policy, Crime and Criminal Justice, Atif Hayat. Devon Rhodes. Joel Stashuk. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Biology, Gabrielle Indiomo.
It is my enormous pleasure to introduce Daniel Bowman, our student orator who will speak on behalf of the class of 2022. Our student orators have been invited to speak in recognition of their hard work on behalf of the student community and commitment to their studies. Our speakers have both pursued the most enriching experience they could during their time at York, as well as giving back to their community. On behalf of the class of 2022, I give you Daniel Bowman.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow students, I'd like to begin by congratulating you today for achieving your degrees after working so hard under what can only be described as testing conditions. These conditions have taught us so much about ourselves and each other that in the face of adversity, we still have the strength to achieve. When I came to the University of York almost 4 years ago, I was nervous about fitting in and sceptical of my academic abilities. But like many of you, these feelings quickly subsided because of the welcoming and inclusive nature of our university. Community and inclusivity is ingrained into the fabric of this institution, from the college system, sports teams, societies, departments, and ingrained into the wider university ethos. This emphasis on community taught us the importance of looking out for one another, whilst also building our knowledge, our strength, and our resilience through the opportunities of academia at York. Although when COVID-19 arrived almost 22 months ago, this once-in-a-generation pandemic saw our community separate, As students, we started to learn from home, away from our friendships and the comfort of York life. Although that community, that York community, didn't go anywhere, it became stronger than ever, partnered with a generation of students that had the determination, the drive, and the resilience to overcome the barriers of the pandemic. As one community, we supported each other, strengthening our own resolve and, most importantly, building each other up. Because of our individual and collective resilience, we become graduates today. The values we have learned at York and the resilience we have built will serve us well wherever we go next, whether we go into further study or gain employment in our respective fields. And although it goes without saying that the world we head into is unstable and full of complexities, I know that this cohort has the determination, the persistence, the skills, and the vision to overcome these challenges and make our society a better place for everyone in it, enabling a shared future for all. All that's left to say is congratulations, and that I wish you well in your future endeavours. Thank you.
It is my great pleasure to introduce a message of congratulations from Honorary Graduate of the University of York, Dame Sharon White.
Hi, I'm Sharon White and I'm Chairman of the John Lewis Partnership, which owns Waitrose and John Lewis. I'm also privileged to be an Honorary Doctor of the University of York. I wanted to say an enormous congratulations on your graduation. Many, many, many congratulations on your success, particularly with all the trauma and challenges of studying during COVID. I'm sure with both all the sort of anxiety of COVID itself, but also the sort of roller coaster of face-to-face and online teaching. You've made it, you've reached the finish line, and that's something hugely to be celebrated. What is so fantastic about the University of York, and it's a pleasure for me to have this association with the university, is the focus on social purpose. And it's something that also sits right at the heart of the business that I run, the John Lewis Partnership, which is very much centred on people and the importance of work and the importance of social mobility. I'm sure you'll be thinking about what happens next after university. Perhaps some of you will be staying on to study further. Others of you perhaps thinking about the world of work. And I hope and confident that the focus on purpose, on meaning, on doing good, making a difference, particularly at this time when so much is changing in our world. The labour market is changing. All our expectations about what we want from life and work have changed so dramatically during COVID. I wish you every success and all the best in finding work that feels as much like a vocation and a pleasure as it does like a piece of employment. So many congratulations again, and I hope you have great fun celebrating.
Graduates, guests, colleagues. Graduation ceremonies are amongst the most special parts of my job. They mark the creativity, the energy, the passion, and the sheer hard work that you, our graduates, have put into your studies. I've just had the privilege of being the first person to congratulate each graduand as they became a graduate. And I can now also be the first person to tell you how proud the university is of you. I'm sure your supporters, family and friends agree. So I ask them, along with my colleagues, to applaud you, our new graduates. That's one of the longest rounds of applause I think we've heard. It says something. Now, the University of York is a special place. It's less than 60 years old. It's already regarded as one of the UK's best universities, and it has a great reputation worldwide. All the measures we routinely use on quality of teaching, excellence of research, prospects of graduates, impact on the economy, all confirm that strength, that reputation, that quality. But there's more to it than that. We heard about that from Daniel and from Dame Sharon White, because our work is underpinned by powerful values. Our founders set up the university for public good. Our students weren't just to be technically proficient in their fields, but also to be able to apply their learning for social benefit, both in the UK, but also, and this was the language they used at the time, back in the early 1960s, as citizens of the world. And we were to care, I quote, more than almost anything else about ensuring access to university education for those who had previously not had the opportunity. And our research was intended not just to open up new knowledge, but also to apply that knowledge with and through its students for, and I quote again, the amelioration of human life and conditions, or in other words, for public good. Now, I said at the opening of the ceremony I'd give some further reflections on the challenges we've all faced over the last 2 years. I think our values, our commitment to public good at the University of York have been vital in the way we've responded to those challenges. You may remember that a little less than 2 years ago, we were the lead item in the news, the centre of national and international attention, when York saw the first confirmed COVID cases in the UK. One of them a student of ours. Little did we know, amid the media maelstrom at the time, that this was just a prelude. Since then, COVID has taken a horrifying toll. We've seen over 5.5 million deaths worldwide, more than 150,000 in the UK. Many millions more have been ill, many of them badly so. Our economies have been severely disrupted. We've endured so many restrictions on our social interactions. Little did we know all of that 2 years ago when we had those first cases in York. But there was something in that experience in late January 2020 that set a tone which has endured. So let me pick out some recollections from our first encounter with COVID in January 2020. First and foremost, there was an extraordinary sense of shared purpose that arose immediately across the university community. Even though things were uncertain, nobody knew much about COVID back then. Students, staff, people across the city came together. It was heartening, for example, to see Samara Jones, the then president of our Students' Union, on the front steps of the university before the amassed TV cameras and a frankly frenzied pack of journalists, basically saying, You lot keep calm, we've got this. And when we set up a call centre to deal with all the many anxious inquiries that came our way, we had more volunteers from among our staff to handle those calls than you could shake a stick at. They understood the anxiety that people felt, and they responded with understanding and compassion. And when a tiny minority in the city resorted to stereotypes and scapegoating about the source of the virus, the response in the university and across the city was emphatic. We're not having that here. Not acceptable. Instead, the city rallied round. We worked from the off, with the City Council, with the local NHS, with York St John University just down the road, to manage that uncertain situation. That set a tone which has persisted and has been a tremendous asset for university and city over the last 2 years. And those responses, shared purpose, compassion, solidarity, collaboration, became emblems of this university's COVID response. Let me pick out a few examples. And before I turn to our students, I want to dwell for a moment on my colleagues. And the combination of dedication, hard work and creativity they've applied to teaching and to supporting our students over the last 2 years. At times we had to shift teaching and support services fully online. At others we could only do some things in person. Only recently have we been able to move generally to in-person activity. As government guidance shifted on several occasions, my colleagues, lecturers, timetablers, technicians, cleaners, have had to adapt again and again and again. That has, to be frank, been a strain, especially when it was combined with working from home, especially in periods when many had homeschooling to contend with too. I think the shared professional commitment to our students, of our staff, through all of this, has been extraordinary. What's also been extraordinary is how all of this has been accompanied by continuing outstanding research achievement. Colleagues have found the time and the inventiveness to continue their research. Just look at all the great stories on our website. And to bring in the funding to do even more of it. And of course, some of that research in all parts of the university has been focused on COVID and its effects. What a confirmation our response to the pandemic has been of the values of universities and of the expertise they contain to our society. Extraordinary too was the way staff of all kinds mobilised to support the welfare of our students. We had, for example, a really difficult moment in October 2021. I imagine many of you will remember this. When over 2,000 students were in COVID self-isolation on campus and around the city. We had to make sure they were fed and had other essentials. That was a huge logistical challenge. And we could only do it through staff from all backgrounds, volunteering on top of their day jobs to make up food packs and deliver them, to phone students every day to make sure they were okay, and much more. So let me record my thanks to my colleagues, and let me call on you, our graduates, to join me in applauding our outstanding staff and all they've done to support you through your time here. A second theme in our COVID response concerns our students. It's been an extraordinarily difficult time for our students, with teaching having to be delivered in different ways, with less in-person contact than any of us would have wanted, and with all those other parts of the student experience, sports, societies, nightlife, at times in part or wholly off limits. Many students have had COVID, and many more have had to self-isolate because one of their flatmates came down with it. Some struggled financially because part-time work dried up amid COVID restrictions. The whole experience has been taxing on mental health and well-being. And, to be frank, students had very little in the way of support, or even, I think, understanding on the part of government. That sounds like a tale of negatives, but there's more to it than that. That's not the whole story. That's in part because of the commitment of our staff to deliver the best education they could and to support student welfare as best they could. It's in part because our students were so resilient. They adapted to studying in different ways. They adapted to socialising in different ways, in part online, in part outside. When we were able last year, we ran an outdoor facility called the Forest. It was booked out every night by student societies, sports clubs, colleges, no matter what the weather. And my goodness, socialising outside in a Yorkshire winter takes real commitment. And then there were our students' unions, which were so inventive, working with my colleagues to identify student needs and solve them, including hundreds of 4G boosters for students with unreliable Wi-Fi, including Christmas hampers in December 2021 for care experienced students and international students unable to travel home, delivered to their door by special arrangement with Morrison's. And beyond all that, our students rallied to support their community in the city. Our COVID test site on campus, which is a community centre open to all in the city, has been staffed throughout by students. Students have volunteered in the community in all sorts of ways, and one that stands out for me was training elderly citizens who were shielding how to use iPads to keep in touch with their loved ones. Our students, including you, our new graduates, have shown tremendous resilience, commitment and compassion. Thank you. Thanks too to your family and friends, including those supporting you in this hall today. I suspect they may have helped you from time to time during your period here at the university, with advice, companionship, the occasional shoulder to cry on, laundry services, and no doubt a little bit of money here and there. So graduates, I'd like you to stand and turn to your family and friends, wherever they are in the hall, and raise the roof for them. Thank you for that. Now, I wish all of our graduates success and happiness for the future. Please do keep in touch. As you crossed the platform earlier, you became members of the York Global Alumni Association, and there's now 140,000 of you in 180 countries worldwide. Through the Alumni Association, you can stay in touch, share experience and insight, help and support one another, and of course, keep in touch with what's happening at the university. We want you to see York as your university for life. And if you received financial support last year from our Emergency Student Support Fund, you have our alumni to thank, who donated hundreds of thousands of pounds. One day you too may be able to help future students at the university. And please do think hard about your experience at York during COVID. We heard about this from Daniel, our student orator, earlier. You are a unique generation of graduates. You have the same academic credentials as earlier generations do. Like them, you've worked hard, you've mastered your subjects, you've got your qualifications. But you have something more. You've had COVID to contend with too. I think this university and this city have had a distinctive, almost instinctive approach to COVID, based in compassion and solidarity, looking out for one another. You were part of that. It's an example of our values, of what a commitment to public good can mean. I hope you'll take that with you as you move into the next stage in your life. You can be sure, and Sharon White mentioned this, it's something your future employers will value. I'm going to finish the ceremony now by showing a video which was part of a submission which led us to being shortlisted for University of the Year. I hope it will help you remember and reflect on how our community came together. Thank you.
Student at the University of York is one of the 2 Chinese citizens who have tested positive for the coronavirus in the UK.
So this statement from Public Health England
has the headline,
confirming
"Is the killer
that 2
virus
people
here?"
had been
Pictures of
staying
people
in
with
York.
masks on.
Coronavirus is a student at the University of York. My Kent from our newsroom is
Begin
with
in what's the latest.
When the first case in the UK was discovered here in York, I was visiting one of our partner universities, Maastricht in the Netherlands. Being the first case, there was obviously no script for us to follow. At the same time as having the world's media looking at us, everybody was here. We brought together a contingency group, medical experts, others who could help us think through the issues that we might face, and we worked from the outset with the City Council and the other educational institutions in the city. Well, we knew very little about the virus at the time, and our overriding concern was to keep people safe and to give them the reassurance that we could, and to prepare for what followed, what became probably the most challenging year the university has ever faced.
At the time, I think emotions were kind of all over the place. There was so much uncertainty, which provided a little bit of fear for the unknown and panic about what's going to happen next. The university was brilliant in that regard. They set up a phone line for students, for parents, for staff within the first 24 hours that anyone could call for any questions and reassurance.
The key thing was listening to students and making sure that they could see leadership and also a lot of compassion and kindness, because it was an uncertain time both for staff and for students. One of the main things the university did was introduce the Emergency Student Support Fund, one of the first universities in the UK to do so, recognising that students would lose things like part-time work and there'd be various financial challenges facing students, and that was really important to give students that financial certainty wherever they were.
We actually listened to what students and staff had to say, and with students we listened to what they had to say through their elected student representatives, being members of our contingency groups, and also by conducting pulse surveys as well, so that we captured the mood and indeed what students actually wanted, and we responded to that. We managed to get all of our teaching and learning online within a week of the pandemic starting, which I think is a remarkable achievement. We provided roughly about 6,000 welfare calls or checks on students in self-isolation throughout the pandemic. We actually provided lockdown loot for students as well, so we provided food, treats, activity packs, and even hampers at Christmas as well.
So clearly we would expect the university to step into the knowledge space and provide a greater, deeper understanding of the virus. However, the University of York went much further than that. It engaged communities, it's provided open access to equipment and facilities and space. It provided us with leadership and support and was very much a partner in dealing with the impacts of the pandemic on this city.
What I've learnt about the University of York community in the last year is that we are incredibly resilient and resourceful, that we're compassionate, that when we say that we're a university for public good, we actually live it as well, and it's about being a community that works together. I have a number of favourite stories from students. Actually, one concerns students actually working with elderly members of the local community to ensure that they could get access to the internet. So they provided training sessions and support so that these people could actually contact their relatives.
The founders of this university talked 60 years ago of what we, our staff, our students, would do to ameliorate human life and conditions. What a sense of purpose for a university to have, and my goodness, how much it has been our compass over the last year. That's what defines the University of York. I declare this congregation closed. Please rise.